Hey y'all, welcome back to the Misfit Mama. It's me, Heather, your guide to authentic motherhood and homemaking, and today I am sharing with you 5 tips and tricks to make it through parent-teacher conference season this fall. My daughter is in middle school this year, and that means that I have the joy of, instead of having just one parent-teacher conference, I get to have 5. The other day after the first official one, actually had one earlier, which I'll get into. Just stay tuned for more deets on that whole sitch. Oh, my first official one I had last week, and I recorded a quick video with some tips and tricks on how to advocate for your kids during this season. If you're new here, I would love for you to just consider subscribing. I share a lot of content about how to be authentic in your motherhood and homemaking journey. If you're not new, thanks for coming back. Appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button, share this with a friend. Let me know what tips and tricks you have for surviving the parent-teacher conference season, because it's about to get real. And I don't know if I'm ready for it, but all right, let's do this.
I just got out of a parent-teacher conference with one of my daughter's teachers, and I just wanted to talk about advocating for your children and what that looks like in this season of parent-teacher conferences, because Jesus, take the wheel. Oh my gosh, here's the sitch with this parent-teacher conference situation. I got pulled into one at the very beginning of the year. Like, I felt like we were 3 seconds into the year, and I was being pulled into a parent-teacher conference with all of our 5 teachers and the head of the school, which was a lot. And they were like, oh, don't be alarmed. This isn't alarming. We're not trying to alarm you. I just want to say, I don't care what we're meeting about. Unless you're telling me that my child's a genius and needs to go to college, I'm alarmed. Okay. Ugh. Anyways, so they told me all kinds of things, and I was just caught off guard, was not prepared for that situation. And so I thought, I think I learned a little bit about how to handle it better. So I just had my first end of the trimester parent-teacher conference, and I just wanted to give some quick tips about how to handle it better than I did the first one. First one that I had 2 seconds into the school year, I was just like, yep, okay, agree with everything you're saying. I'm gonna do whatever you say. So my first tip is, don't agree with everything they say. Absolutely listen to what they're saying, and listen to it with an actual open mind. The teachers and staff at the school get a different view of your child than you do. At the same time, you probably know your kid better. I'm just saying, you raised them, okay? So there are things that you also know about your child that they don't know, and things that sometimes get blown out of proportion, I think, that don't need to be. For instance, right now, one of the things that we're dealing with, which has really always been kind of an issue for us, feedback my daughter has gotten from the time she started kindergarten, okay, was that she finishes her work slowly. That she understands the material, she's smart enough to do it, but she's just slow. Okay? I know this because she lives in my house, okay? And I'm the one that's got to get her ready in the morning. I live with her. I know she's slow, okay? And it's really not important to me if she is the first one to finish her work at school or if she's the last one to finish her work at school. What's important to me is that she finishes the work in the amount of time that she's given, and that she understands the material, period. But there does seem to be a lot of pressure for her to be doing it faster. For me, anyways, at the end of the day, my goal with my kids is to speak the truth to them, over them, and for them, okay? And that includes at school with the parent-teacher conferences. And so that means that I am going to, in every situation, look for what is the actual truth. And obviously I'm only one person, and I'm biased towards my child, and I can only see, so much, but I am trying to find the truth, and I'm trying to speak the truth. And that's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, what is best for her. And that's it. That's my goal. So It's lunchtime. I scheduled my conference so that I could eat lunch with her because I almost never get to come for lunch. And by never get to, I mean I never do. I could if I wanted to, but I just don't. So I scheduled my conference so that I could have lunch with her. I got us a little Starbucks, little baby Starbucks, little mama Starbucks. So I'm gonna go do that and then I will get back to y'all. Anyways, it was super sweet to just chill with her for a little bit, and some of the other girls invited us to sit with them, and we played 2 Truths and a Lie. Back to parent-teacher conference situation. I'm like hyped up though. That was my like 2nd cup of coffee today, and I normally don't drink that much coffee, but what you're gonna do? Here we go. Here for it. Okay, so my first tip was about going into these conversations with these conferences with teachers with an open mind and knowing what your goals are. My second piece of advice would be to not make any actual decisions in the conference. I feel like a lot of times they want you to agree to different plans of action or interventions in these meetings, and I just don't feel like that's an appropriate time to agree to it. I think that most people need to sleep on things. You may need to do research about something. Just as a quick example, some teachers had suggested that we get some testing done for our daughter to see if maybe she had a learning difference because of some things that they saw at the beginning of the year. And initially during the meeting, I was like, yeah, like we'll do whatever you guys say. I was kind of caught off guard. I was alone. It was me versus 6 other people. My husband was working, so he wasn't able to come join me at the meeting. And I was kind of just like, yeah, we'll do whatever. The testing that they wanted me to get done, I don't know if any of y'all have heard of, it's like a neuropsychological testing. I've never even heard of that. So I got home and I started my little Googling, and come to find out it's like an 8-hour test that costs, you know, a couple $1,000. And I'm like, hold up. Like, this is too much for, you know, the first step. I felt like there were probably other things that needed to happen before we got to that place. And honestly, I'm glad that I took that step back and took some time to research and really think about what was right for our family and what was right for my child. And then to come back to the school with my hesitations. I didn't come back to them and say, oh, hell no, we're not going to do that. Y'all are wrong. You don't know my kid. I know my kid better. I came back and I said, look, I'm hesitant to do this for these reasons. And they said, you know what? We totally understand that. Here's what we could do. Like, here are some other options of paths that we can take. And it turns out that didn't need to be the first step. So I'm glad that I really took that time, you know, that I didn't just immediately jump into it. It can feel like there's a lot of pressure in these meetings to just agree with the teacher. I fully believe that teachers deserve so much more than what they get. They deserve all the credit for everything that they do. And I have had experiences where some of the feedback that I was getting was really just because, you know, the teachers were annoyed with my kid. You know, so that's why I'm saying, take a minute, take the feedback that they're giving you. Take notes, y'all, take notes, okay? Because you are in a heightened state. This is gonna be number 3. You're not gonna remember all the things. So please bring a pen and paper, you know, write things down so that you know what you need to think about later, you know what you need to research later, you can remember what the teacher said if you need to talk to your child about something. But that's number 3, take notes, okay? I didn't do that in the first couple meetings that I have. Since my daughter's in middle school, I have a conference with each of her teachers individually, and I had one at the beginning of the year with all the teachers, which was just an added bonus for me, special one. And so I wish I had taken notes in those, because there are things that they were saying to me about how she was doing, that I wish I could follow up with them now that we're further into the year. I wish I could follow up and ask them how she's progressing with those things, but I just can't remember what they were, you know, because I just have a horrible memory. And number 4, okay, this is a conversation I have with my daughter regularly because middle school is a struggle bus, okay? It is the struggle bus of life. Don't take everything personally. And also don't think that your kid is the only one struggling with this. I have had, every single time I go into a parent-teacher conference, I always feel as if they are telling me that my child is the only child that is having this problem in the entire class. And the truth is not. It's not the truth, okay? I wish that, I understand that teachers cannot say, oh, well, you know, Joey and Susie and Johnny are all struggling with this. Obviously they can't say that, but I wish that they could be like, you know, your kid is not the only one who has this issue. Generally they don't, but I think that that would put my mind at ease, especially because a lot of times it does feel like they're telling me, well, your child is the only one that has this problem, so they need to be popping some pills, or you need to go get this test done, or you need to, you know, what's wrong with your kid? But anyways, you guys, I've still got 2 more parent-teacher conferences, so I'm gonna try and take my own advice, and we'll see how that goes, because you know that's the hardest, practicing what you preach. Deep breaths. That's number 5. Just take deep breaths, okay? Don't forget to breathe. It's gonna be fine. Your kids are gonna be fine, okay? Even if school is not great for them, just remember, they're gonna be fine, okay? School in the way that we do school is not great for everyone. Yeah, you're gonna need to do what you need to do to get them through this, okay? And to get them through it as successfully as possible. But just know, they're gonna be fine, okay? You're gonna help them, and they're gonna find what they do in life, what they're gonna do in life, okay? They're people too. They're not just little minions that we send out to school and hope for a giant return on our investment. We have to remember they're people too. That's part of the reason why I get so worked up about school, and why I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis every other day about my kid's school situation, is I feel like people forget that they are children. They are children, and their childhood is short. It is so short, y'all. And it is supposed to be sweet. And this is supposed to be the time when they are figuring out who they are and what they like and what they want to go explore when they're adults. They don't need to have all their shit figured out. You know? They just don't. Remember to advocate for your child in a way that is seeking the truth and speaking the truth in love. And you'll be fine. You don't have to make any rash decisions in a 20-minute conference while you're sitting in a tiny chair. You're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. The teachers can wait for whatever decision you need to make. It's gonna be okay. And I will catch you in the next video. In the meantime, keep it real.